Welcome back to part 3. We have made our way through Tarot, some Oracle, and now this is the other half of the Oracle decks because I have more than Tarot. So let's continue looking through these. We will start with, yipes, the weather's turning spring-like, and I was trying to put more of a spring-like bird flower background, but it looks wrinkled. Apologies. Okay, Soul Care Oracle. Now, I was using this for the longest time, showing the sun and moon phases, but the artwork is so pretty. I just started pulling one every day just to kind of have up on my shelf. Here's the guidebook. I love the artwork. So you get a black and white photo, keywords and affirmation, and then the message and a little helpful soul care tip for each one. Nice guidebook. There are the backs. There we go. So you have the planets, the zodiac, and the elements. But I find, now that I'm just drawing one a day, that it also works as just an oracle. And that way I also get to enjoy the artwork. So you have the object, whether it be the zodiac sign, the planet, or the element, and then the saying along the bottom. And I had the moon phase out, and then the sign that it was in. I used the app on my phone, Time Passages, to tell me when the planets are in different phases as I learn it. And I would pull that zodiac sign next to the phase of the moon. For example, if it was a full moon in Gemini, I would have these two out so that I could see, I'm celebrating my unique self, and it is safe to slow down and listen. But as I said, they also work as an individual oracle deck. Spring. I was missing out on, the planets and then the elements, the seasons. So I decided just use it as an oracle, and I'm glad I did because I get to see the full extent of the cards. Sagittarius. Isn't it pretty? This watercolor-like art. Summer. Poor Pluto. Powerful Pisces. Scorpio. Look at that one. Wow. So yeah, that is the Soul Care Oracle, and lovely as just an oracle deck, but also usable if you're wanting to know the phases of the moon and the planets that they are, the houses that they're in. Next is the Daily Crystal Inspiration. I only have 2 crystal decks. This one I pull just mainly as an oracle, but with the images you can also help learn a great deal about them by seeing the colors, the shapes, the textures. So for each one you get the title, a little saying, and then a full description, core questions, and then an affirmation or action that you can do for each one. There's the backs. Busy backs, but beautiful nonetheless. The front. So we have this very minimalistic, can't talk today, minimalistic white background with a clear image of what the crystal looks like, the saying, and then a little slogan below it. Get a lot of them, by the way. There's a ton in here. So it helps you learn, you know, a little bit of what they look like. They're not always exact. Sometimes they look different in real life, but you learn, you know, obviously that's rhodonite, rose quartz. So these work really, really well on their own, maybe a once a week pull, or pairing it because of their, you know, minimal style. They don't overpower. So you could pair it with a very busy tarot deck, which will be fun to see. And you can see the sayings down here. Lots of them, lots and lots. Some of them I had never heard of. Speaking of which, I've got one other crystal deck. Let me pull that out here. Nice sized cards, good card stock. They're not slippery. This is the other one I have, this tiny, tiny, tiny little guy. I'm not sure where the box is. I just keep it in the bag it came in. These are little, they're just called crystal cards, made by Frequency, obviously. So on the back, you have a close-up image of the crystal. And then on the front, it gives you a lot of information on it. So you can see each one is different depending on the crystal. You get a close-up. That's obviously sodalite. Close-up of what it looks like, rose quartz. On the other side, this is what you get. So I don't use this, obviously, as an oracle. But what I do enjoy about it is it does help me learn beyond the basics about crystals. So, for example, this is agate. It tells you all these little keywords, what's related with that crystal. And then if you look at the very, very bottom, we've got the different stats on it. It's related to the sacral chakra, Gemini, right? It's alchemic. It's related to the planet of Mercury, and the vibration level. And it had a little pamphlet, which is in the box, but you can see at a glance all of the details you get. And then there's the I forget what it's called, like the super power stones that's in black. Again, chakra, power, element that it's related to, planet, and vibration. I thought this was fascinating and a neat little way, you know, without having to go to a book for each one to read about them. A lot of information here. Very handy. And again, not used as an oracle, just used to learn more. You know, if you want to work with a crystal, say if I wanted to, you know, work with chrysocolla, then I would look at the keywords to help understand, you know, what it helps with, the chakra, the zodiac sign, the element, the planet, and then the vibration. So some of them are projective, and some of them are, what is it called? Eternal, obviously, are the power ones, but there's the other one, is it receptive? There we go. So we've got receptive, which pulls in, and then we've got projective, which, you know, you send out. So you can learn a heck of a lot with these little cards. Power cards, again, by Frequency, and they weren't expensive at all. They're very reasonable. You know, in decent cardstock, they're thin, but again, you're not going to really, you know, shuffle these a lot for, at least I wouldn't, for oracle use. So next I have these two adorable little kitten boxes, and I backed these because I absolutely love Nicole's work. Nicole PR, I get her newsletter, and these two came together, and oh, I hate that when the box rips like that. But I keep them together in this little leopard skin bag, which makes them, you know, quite huge. but at least they're kept together. So you can see they're both gilded at different. One is Spirit Kittens and one is Witch Kittens, so we can separate them easily here. So one of them focuses more on little witchy sayings. The other is more spiritual. But on the front, you can see these beautiful little kitten illustrations. And as you know, I'm a cat person. But her detail in the eyes and the expressions of her kittens are just amazing. And on the back, each one has a word, a saying, and then questions. So for a smaller card, you really get a lot out of it. Effervescence. Right? Aren't these precious? And as you can see, there are a lot of cards here. So I will separate them, the decks, because obviously they make too huge a one to really use as one. But they will pair nicely with the tarot deck simply because they're so beautiful. This one's more of a softer palette looking one, but you still get a word, a saying, and questions, right? And even if you want to use them on your own, you can, because they're just, you know, a pull of the day. Look at this one. Beautiful. Trust. What is the next step on my sacred path? Just little thought-provoking questions. If you wanted to use them all by themselves. Isn't that beautiful? Spirit Kittens and Witch Kittens. Love them. And yes, I'll be separating them for pairing. Even though they're little, they're mighty. So next we have, these two are kind of together also because they are Katie Jane Wright and illustrated by Nikki Strange. We've got Song of the Stones and then the Earth Alchemy Oracle. And if you can't tell, I'm drawn to this beautiful oil painting like style. This was the first one that came out. Pull it out here. So this one is talking about, you know, crystals with plants. The other one is crystals and spirits of the earth. So we've got some animals too. This is the guidebook. And we can see it gives the title of the card, keyword, element, and then a little slogan there. And then there's quite a bit of description for each one as well. Here are the backs. And you really can't tell on the camera, but the brush strokes and the colors, the artistry is just gorgeous in these. And a nice thick cardstock as well. So you can see we've got the crystal and the plant. It gives you a keyword with the element and then the slogan on it. And I found both of these decks, both of these cards are, they're not light and fluffy. They go in depth, very introspective. But I thought just the artwork, though, is stunning. See the little bee there. So she's put kind of like its own little element with the crystal and the plant, its own little world for each painting. Look at the rose quartz and the olive tree. See the olive branches and the dove for, you know, peace, the roses. Beautiful. Look at that one. Crazy lace, agate, and sunflower. So the crazy lace agate is in the background. The sunflowers are here shining. So naturally, when I saw the next deck of hers come out, especially with the same illustrator, I had to get it because I absolutely love their teamwork that they come up with. So this one, pull it out here. By the way, they're nice, sturdy boxes. Here's the guidebook. And again, we have the title, the element, the meaning, and then the explanation here for each one. Very thorough. This one has more to do with chakras as well. So here's the back. This one is borderless. So we talk about the crystal itself, alexandrite, water, fire. There's the elemental symbols. And then we have our little slogan down below. Look at the beautiful coding here. And I call it coding because it's not really a language. We can't decipher it, but it is coding for our inner self, right? For us to decipher its own meaning to us. So here we have some of the chakras. This is the crown, right? Crown chakra for Herkimer. Detach from the 3D matrix and rise above. If only we could. Look at that fluorite. Beautiful coloring. Beautiful code all around it. Lemurian diamond gateway. It's in the background there. Isn't that beautiful? Pink kunzite, higher heart. So their heart chakra gateway. The only way in is through. So yeah, we have some animals in here too. Carnelian. There's a beautiful deer one in here that I absolutely love. Look at the black cat looking up at the galaxy. Covalite. Past life healing, Akashic field. Look at the dragon, Numite. Lion and the whale. Petersite, also known as the Tempest Stone. It looks like a little storm going on in there. Birds. Yeah, sorry I'm really dwelling on this, but it is beautiful, absolutely gorgeous. And both of them I intend to pair because they're just so gorgeous. Hopefully they won't be too busy, but we will see. Okay, next is the Urban Crow Oracle. My husband got this for me. I was so excited to get it. I keep it in here because I do my year ahead each month spread with the Crow Tarot. And this I pair with it because they go beautifully together. Just beautiful. There was an expansion deck that I've combined with this. And MJ, in her wisdom, made the backs identical, made the size identical. So you cannot tell which one is which. That's why I have two little guidebooks here. I use her little card as a separator for the guidebooks. But yeah, you can't tell the difference when you combine them. There's the back. The Crow Tarot has more touches of the Pacific Northwest. This one has more Boston because that's where she's from. I love this deck because, oh my gosh, it just brings the Crow deck, the tarot deck, to life. These are wonderful for clarifying. Even on its own, it would work beautifully. But with the Crow Tarot, just icing on the cake. She knows her crows. She really does. She's coming out now, or has just come out with a, is it Coastal Crows and Ravens deck, which focuses on the crows and ravens, obviously, that live at the Pacific Northwest along the coast. There's a lot of coastal scenes, ocean scenes with them. It's a beautiful deck. And of course, she has this gorgeous collage style. These are so, so easy to read. Look at this strength. That's just perfect. Isolation. So many different topics are covered here. So that is the Urban Crow and the expansion combined. That's why it's so large. But genius move, MJ, making them identical on the back and sizes, because that's how an expansion should work. You should not be able to tell at all that it's different, right? At least to me, you shouldn't be able to. Right. So let's move on to... This is my only Colette Baron Reid deck. Gosh, I think I got this in 2016, 2017. That image alone caught my heart. I love seeing that stag. And I use this, I switch this out with one other deck for my weekly draw. I'll draw a card for the week and put it up on my shelf. And this is one of two decks that I use for that reason. You can see it's well worn, nice thick guidebook. For each card, we get a little black and white thumbnail, the slogan, the message, and a protection message, which, you know, it could be thought of as a reverse, but she calls it protection message instead, if you need to read that. But these have been just beloved friends that I use every week, and they're already getting that soft, worn, not frayed, but just that soft, familiar feel that you get with a well-used deck. There are the backs. Nice big size. But I love the artwork. I love how the animal has been, you know, given a crown or jewelry or embellishments just to kind of give them that royal feel. And each one is a spirit guide with their saying. The number, of course, to help quickly find it in the guidebook. Some of them, of course, are upside down. Look at that. Just great. Some of them have more of a tribal painting on them. Even Turkey Spirit has his own card. There's our cat. There's a lot of them, as you can see, too. We all like to, you know, get a good value out of a deck, right? When we see 20 cards, we're like, oh, I don't know about that. That's kind of not very many. Flip these back around for you, sorry. Antelope. This one, you know, you can see the motion that it's running, right? The speed. Brown bear. Again, some tribal, almost Native American with the feathers, although I won't try to say that that's what it is. I don't want to speak what I don't know of. So yeah, this is my weekly draw, and I suppose you could use it for a pairing or as a daily pull. Because it does have some nice keywords there, but for some reason it just started out as my weekly and ended up that way for years. I guess because I wanted to be able to put the card up on the shelf and see it all week, right? And there's 52 weeks in a year, so I get to see, hopefully, as many cards as there are in the deck, you would think. So, okay. Let me show you the other deck that I use for my weekly pulls. Put this in here. Pull the other one. And that is another spirit animal. It's Spirit of the Animals Oracle. And these are large I don't know that I'd be able to use them every day just because they're so huge. But again, I love the artwork. So I enjoy having it up on my shelf all week long. For each card, we get a big black and white, what it is, some keywords, explanation, description, and then contrary questions, right? That's for each card. And again, they're huge cards, which, you know, makes shuffling a little difficult, but you can, if you've got like piano fingers like I do, you can, you know, overhand, but probably riffling would be the best, or just shuffling on the table. So here are the cards, and they are just beautiful. She, I believe, also did the spirit wheel, which I have. So you have the animal in the painting, a keyword, and then different sayings, right? And depending on which one kind of sings to you or rings a bell with you is the one that you would focus on. And I like that there are, you know, so many options, because, you know, one week might be different from the next. But these are just gorgeous, gorgeous cards. Love the artwork. And I think these were out of print for a while, but I think they've come back. I'm not sure. I want to say Lisa Papa said they were coming back, but sorry, Lisa, that's not right. My memory might not be as accurate. But look at the water. Look at the artwork. I love it. All right, so that is the second deck that I use for my weekly pull. I will grab another stack and be back. So now I've got them, I'm kind of putting them into like category chunks, just to help keep them together. I'm old school. I write everything down just to keep track of it. But first I want to pull up this one. Now, this was a gift from a very dear person. So right away, you're going to say it's AI. And as you've seen, I've decluttered all my AI decks that I'm aware of. However, this one is very special to me just because it was a dear gift. So it will probably remain with me. It's actually a very, very nice deck. I won't use it as an oracle. It would probably be more of a, I don't know, like an altar deck. These are the backs. See the gold foiling there, and there were these three special cards. Here's the guidebook, which is quite thorough. It's quite thick. You get a little color thumbnail, what it is with some keywords, and then a message to you. It's actually a very spiritually thought out deck. It's gilded. And the artwork is pretty, even though we know this was done by prompts. You can tell this took a lot of work. And because this was such a special gift, it will be remaining with me. I think it's been going around in ads on Facebook. I do love that card. If you're not, you know, opposed to the AI work, it's spectacular. So if you're wanting some spiritual Egyptian themed cards, then these are right up your alley. And I do enjoy them. It reminds me of the person, and gives me a soft, warm, fuzzy feeling. So beautiful cardstock too. So it's probably the only one that I'll be keeping as far as AI work. And Lovely. Okay. So that's the only one that's kind of in that category. The rest of them are all decluttered. So it fits nicely in this beautiful little box and will be special. Okay, now moving on to different categories. This category is the spread crafters, and I have the two expansions that I won't open them, but I have the Quest and the Change. Now, the spread crafters, I don't know if you've seen them. When I first saw it on Kickstarter, I did not back it. I honestly thought that it was, you know, just some prompt cards. But after I saw some videos of people who actually used it, and I saw Kim's videos on different uses for this, wow, it is so much deeper than just some prompts. And you can see I've used this book quite a bit. There's activities in the back, her own take on how to use them, the steps, suggested spreads, but these are wonderful. And I like to keep them organized in their categories so that I can shuffle the individual category and put out the category and then pull it like a tarot card for each one. So as you can see, we've got the Seeker, you know, which is the person. You've got focus area. What do you want to focus on today? Light work suggestions, shadow work suggestions, and then some calls to action. And you can see more in-depth videos on how to use these, but these are amazing because not only do they create a spread right away if you're just having you know, a blank head and you can't think up something, or you're not even sure what to ask. These seem to intuitively point you in the right direction. So there's the Seeker section, and these focus areas, you know, what are you wanting to learn? You know, what do you want to talk about? What are you wanting to dive into? Some of them are happy. Some of them are, you know, gosh, some of them are, yep, you're right. So you pick that out, and you can see they're color-coded. And then you've got the light work suggestions. And notice that each card also has deeper dive questions on them for you to really, really, you know, sit and think about it. Right? These are amazing and purple edged. There's the back. And I loved these so much that I got the expansion as well. And again, I won't take those out, but there, I would look at this general Spread Crafters Oracle, which you could use all by itself as a wonderful tool, but then it's also expanded on with either an Oracle or a tarot deck. So this is a wonderful thing to have in your tool belt for use. The Change, these are a little more deeper, a little more emotional, which is good if you want to do maybe some shadow work or delve into some really deep topics. And then the Quest, this is a fun one. This is more a fellow gamer. I love her videos, but she's a fellow gamer. If you love games, video games, computer games, even role-playing games, this has, you know, that theme to it, like mana potions, health potions, boss fights, that kind of thing. Fun, and also, again, deep dive. So at least look this up if you don't want to get the expansions, but at least look at this and give it a thought, because it is not just, you know, not just prompt cards. It is very, very, very good. So it's that one. Okay, next, these two, I've got two that I use for actual work. This is the Faerie Enchantments. To be honest, I do not remember where I got it from. I want to say it was 2017 that I found it online. There's the book. And it is very complex in here. So you have, let me find just one start here. You can see how thorough this is. Okay, so find the cards themselves. There's so much in here. Gosh, you can see. So it talks about the card in full, who the fairy that is on the card itself, right? Morgan, emotion. So how to use them is way up here. And what you do, beautiful box, by the way. What you do is, sorry, I got squirreled out there, the rose pink. This is the back. What you do is you can use these in tandem with doing some work, some spiritual work. So there's the backs, which show, you know, who is on it. On the front, there's the title of the card. These are what you can use them for. And these are additional tools that you can include, right? And what you would do is pick out the ones that you want to use, maybe 3 in a row. I hope I'm making sense of this. So let's say you want to, I'm going to flip this over, Aaron Rod, right? Then we have this one. I don't know Welsh. Penardun. There are runes on them too. So let's just use these 3. So you can either, there's 3 different lines that you can, you know, mix and match with. You could receive a quest of love. You could have personal control to attract, right? You could get blessings of virtuous love. You see how you can, and they're all different. They all have many, many, many different uses. See? So they have colors, they have crystals, time of day or year, so we have July there, tools that you might include, spirit animals and birds, and totems. So see how these are tools, and you can mix and match them. The artwork is beautiful. A lot like Tarot Vampires, right? Beautiful. So it's not one to be used, I would say, as, you know, like a daily oracle pull. This is, you know, very in-depth, very serious with usage. So, yeah, great little deck, handy tool to have. The other one would be this one, and it's relatively new. I think Lisa Papas did a review on this, but I had it before that came out. It is a bunch of talismans that you can use. Very detailed work there. Here's the guidebook. And it talks about how to use them, but it also shows you each card. If you want to use it as an oracle, it gives you meaning, the talisman's power itself, and then a little saying, right? And it also shows you the talisman on the side there, in case you want to trace it. It came with some tracing paper, which I haven't used, down there in this nice little pouch. Beautiful little envelope here. Thick little patch of tracing paper. It is like a gray, beautiful gilded. There's the detailed back. And they are nice and dark. They talk about what they are for. And there's the little talisman there. And the symbols included in each one. And you have different ones for different uses. Safe travel, that's a favorite. Balanced emotions. There's one for pretty much anything you can think up. Learn the truth. Let go. Finding love. good fortune. Yeah, and you can see how detailed they are. There's a lot to them. Protection. They're pretty powerful. Mindfulness. Yeah, so if you're interested, karmic justice, if you're interested in any of this kind of work, definitely look this up. It's very thorough, easy to use. You just, you know, follow the book. Nice cardstock and a lovely guidebook. Right, so let's move on. This one, while it is a tarot deck, I have it in this miscellaneous pile because I'm going to be using it as a journal prompt. So I used these on Lisa Pape's videos. She had the tarot with training wheels. That's why there's writing on these. I got this. The cardstock is really, really thin. There's the backs. And while the artwork may be pretty, the cardstock is just really, really, really bad. So I thought I will use this for my keywords, and I'm going to be pasting them into my journal that I have for each card meaning. So, you know, it's clearly a clone for Rider-Waite-Smith, but I thought the imagery was very lovely. And now they all have, you know, writing on them, but I'm going to use some glue and put them on each page that I have. And as I go through each guidebook for every deck I have, if I find some little tidbit of knowledge I like, I'll write it in that book on that particular page. And because this is so thin, I'm going to paste each one on there as examples. So that's why this is kind of, it's not really a tarot or an oracle. It's going to be pieced out, pasted into one book. But you can see it is pretty. And I want to say I saw this, was it 2016, 2017 on The Hermit's Cave. Simon was reviewing it. I thought it was lovely. But the cardstock, disappointing. So yeah, this is like a miscellaneous one that will be finding a new purpose in a journal book. Okay, so now I've got, this is a big boy here. This is called Way of the Horse. And as you know, I love horses. So when I saw this, I was interested because she has a full-length movie about this. She's like the horse whisperer, but she has more of, like it says here, Taoism of horses. And what this is, it's got a big book and 40 beautiful cards. It came in this set, and Amazon, back when I still used it, I try not to anymore, but look, they've really bashed this poor thing up. And it came in this lovely two-piece set, so I don't even store them in there anymore because it's so beaten up. But it came, the cards came in this lovely, lovely little tuck box, which they never opened properly for me. Here are the backs, kind of a yin-yang, beautiful purplish background. And here we have them. You use them in tandem with the guidebook. Some are vertical, some are horizontal, which I don't mind. No keywords on them. But, oh my goodness, they are just beautiful. Look at this one. Can you spot the horses? Their heads are up in the clouds here. Beautiful. Look at that one. Sagittarius. All kinds of horse imagery here. Some are energetic, some are spiritual. All done by Kim McElroy. So beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I won't, I should do just a separate review on this just so I can show you all the different illustrations on that. That looks so much like a photograph, but it is not. This is a drawing. So you go through here, and let's say you pull number 12, the book, which is an actual gorgeous hardback book. It's like cloth covered, proper book. And here she has table of contents. So number 12 would be Authentic Power for that one. And there's a huge introduction and talking about horse wisdom, why she did the book, related resources you can find. So now we go into the actual cards. And we were looking, right, number 12, which was page 70, Authentic Power. So we're going to go to Eye of the Storm is a gorgeous card. So we go to 70. There we go. So, Authentic Power, and we have some keywords here, a description, brief description, the gift and the challenge, and then after you're reading the gift and the challenge, which are, upward and reversed, over here is the actual journey, talking about what the card represents, the history, why they chose this, why this relates to you in your life. And this one is giving the Wild West example. And look at that. You've got 3 full pages on that. Related cards, which if you pull number 2, believe with presence. So it also gives you, related cards and what they might have to do with what you've pulled. And Eye of the Storm is listed there, which I mentioned. These are amazing to use. Even if you didn't want to, have to go through that entire guidebook, the cards alone just speak to you. There's the Eye of the Storm. Look at that. Horse heads here coming up in the waves, and there's the eye, right? Beautiful, beautiful cards. So not one that I know of, is very talked about, but it is beautiful. Look at this one. The lion running in the horse's heart. Beautiful. So yeah, that is kind of a different one. It's just tucked away, so I probably should include it in my rotation and pair it with something, because it's just beautiful to behold. And it has the keywords in the guidebook if I wanted to look at them. All right, so the next, I guess, section is I have some from the Native Americans, medicine cards. And I've had this for so long. I actually, years ago, like 2005, went to a medicine woman in North Carolina just for a reading, and kept the card or the paper she gave me on my 9 totem animals. And that's what this was used for. And family have come up, and we've done readings for these, for their own totem animals, your 9 directions. There are blank ones that I never defile. The only one is that one I showed you, and that's a shame. But these ones, pretty simple. You've got the animal and some, decorative. I'm sure these have meaning, but they're all the spirit animals in here. Lots and lots of them, actually. So what you do is you pull your 9 directions. There's actually a few directions, spreads rather, that you can do in here. And the 9 are your permanent through life, but you can also do daily draws if you wanted to. She also offers other versions that you can do, Father Sky and Mother Earth. But you would draw the card and then read it. So you could use these as a daily draw. I don't, just because the image there doesn't tell me a story or anything. So I would have to go to the book for that, because as opposed to the Way of the Horse, where it had the lion painted over the horse, where I could tell the energy it was trying to express. These are just little silhouettes, right? And I'm not an intuitive reader like that, unfortunately. But you pull the card, and the wolf spirit teacher tells you what it is, how it can teach you. There's a little saying on the side under the illustration, and then contrary message. So, you know, if you don't mind having to pull the book, you know, for the meanings, you could use this as a daily one. I just keep it aside for the spirit totem readings. And I know there's some people have controversy over us calling it totem, because we are not by any means, you know, able to do what the Native Americans do naturally. We're wannabes, right? At least I am. But I do it with reverence and with love, and not with the intention that, you know, I know what they have in their legacy and their history. So respectfully. Okay, the other one I have on that, this artist also did the Spirit of the Animal. You can see the same artwork. And this is more of a meditation deck, and I have not used this. I've pulled it out. I've looked at it a lot. However, you know, time constraints. So what you're supposed to be able to do is, there's a map here, the medicine wheel, and there are different directions of areas that you can pull a card for help in that direction. This is a US Games, and these are the instructions, and it talks about the directions, what it is, the keywords, and so you pull a card and put it in that direction for that particular area of guidance. And, you know, in a perfect world, we all have a table where we can put this out and keep it there forever and use it, right? But no, I haven't yet. But as you can see, the artwork is the same as the Spirit of the Animals, which I absolutely love. So we have the title up here, keywords, and a number to find in the guidebook. That's beautiful. Look at that. And again, have not used it, but I do have good intentions to use it. Beautiful artwork. Love her style. All right, so that is Spirit of the Wheel. Complex, but beautiful nonetheless. And hopefully I will use it and maybe do a video to show as I learn what it is about. This one, this is the last of the Native American ones. There is a book, Ted Andrews' Animal Speak Workbook, as well as the Animal Speak book. So both of these, very detailed. I started it, have not finished it yet. But I also, the reason I brought those out is because I have the deck that go with it. So these, as you can see, this is the guidebook. We've got a black and white, what it is, keywords, and then it tells you about it, and then a reversed for each one, right? Different categories. Nice book. And I have it in this little white cloth. And here they are. Simple. There's a little griffin there in 3 different sizes. Thin cardstock, but you wouldn't really use it for, you know, at least I wouldn't. They are done out as tarot cards, but I've never used it as that. I suppose you could. For me, you know, some of the keywords, I don't know. I look at it as more of a, you know, the animal speak and the totems and learning about that. So, see, the devil, light in the dark and shape-shiftings. those keywords I would not have associated with the devil. That would have been to me more, you know, addictions and self-imprisonment kind of thing, right? But you could use it, I suppose, if you wanted to. These are actual photographs, which again, I probably wouldn't be able to use. I'd hyper-focus on the photograph instead. So this is the animal speak, and it goes with the little book, and it goes with the workbook and the big book by Ted Andrews. So it's kind of a set that I've had for many, many years. I don't even think I have the box to this anymore. But again, you know, a good intention of keeping this and eventually using this. So, all right. So let me get another stack and we will continue. Okay, moving on. We have some that are kind of either personality and some past life category. So this is the first one, which this I don't use. I'm sure a lot of people have this problem. They have a deck that they thought they would need, but they don't use it. And I can't let go of it because of the possibilities it has, right? Some people say you could use this with past lives, so I've kind of stuck it into that category. So we have what the card is, a little thumbnail, right? I mean, it's not too detailed, but there is a lot on each card. So there are the backs, kind of a fabric pattern, Celtic look. Not sure why I had it upside down. There we go. So these are archetypes, and you have what it is, the light attributes, and then the shadow version of it. So in theory, you could use these for past lives. You could use it for personality types. I had thought you can also use it for, I like to write, and these will help with characters, right? A light attribute to a character if you wanted. That looks like the Little Prince. So, you know, my brain starts going off, oh, I could use it with this and this and this, but, you know, like a lot of people, I don't have a lot of time, and when I think of using it, I can't because I have to go to work or I have chores or, you know, but there are a lot of different personalities in here, archetypes. And, you know, I can see how they would be used for past life as well. Wow, I should have organized them better for you. My apologies, they're upside down. Let's see, we have so many different things in here. So that's the first one that could be considered use for past life. And I've had it for a very, very, very long time. Honestly, I need to get out there on YouTube and see how other people have used it for inspiration as well, because I'm sure there are other uses for it. It is very knowledgeable, all the stuff in there. So sticking with the past life use, this is Symbolon, the deck of Remembrance, right? There are a ton of cards in here. And again, this is, you know, talking about past life remembrances to trigger your history. Now, along the lines of past life, I saw Michelle Ballinger. She has a new book out on past life prompts, and I'm really going to look into that because that workbook looks intriguing to me. There's the back, very, very plain and simple. Very, very thin cardstock, but again, I don't know that you'd use it daily. Very thick little white book, right? Usually they're thin. This one's very big. And you can see what we get for each card. The theme, meaning, B and A, or B and C, different, you know. The way through the problem, the outcome. lots of information, because there are a lot of cards, and these cards are very detailed as far as symbolism. So, you know, we can see here what this fellow is doing. We can see symbols on each corner, and these are designed, as I said, to trigger remembrance of a past life, maybe an event, maybe a person, a place, a thing that happened, where you could possibly remember it. There we recognize Aries, Virgo, Mars, Mercury. I suppose if you wanted to use these as an oracle, you could. There's a lot going on in the story that, you know, you could interpret out of it. Perhaps I should just put it in my rotation, just because it's you know, it could be used as an oracle with that in-depth of a guidebook. It's just one of those that is off on its own next to the archetype cards. Look at this one. Woman's looking in the mirror. She's either a mother or she's a regal empress, right? Fascinating imagery. Some of them, you know, there was a vampire in another one. Look at this one. What is, you know, what does that mean? So, this poor child. Temper tantrum, maybe? Yeah, very, very, very intriguing imagery. So, yeah, perhaps I've talked myself into pulling this out of the dustbin, where it just sits for one day and goes into rotation, just to see if I can pair it and interpret the meanings. So we'll see. Okay, now there is an actual Uncover Your Past Lives Oracle that I have here. Comes in this lovely box, and these are round cards with the guidebook. These are blank ones, and again, I haven't used it. I need to make some time. It'd actually be fun to do this, probably with my husband. He'd be intrigued to just try this. But each one has, you know, like maritimer, explorer, fisherman, pirate, ocean traveler, military. So we've got a guide in here, which clearly I haven't read yet. But you can shuffle them, put them together, and find, right here, your past, your present, what you're moving into, and lesson, right? An archetype reading. What if a divider appears? That's interesting. So these are the cards, and there's quite a lot of them, purple edged. So, you know, you would shuffle them and then put them out together. So let's say, you know, we get past, what did it say? Present, and then future. So in this case, we would have, I was an obsessive lover, Air Force, which isn't too far. I was actually in the Navy for a little bit. Or, you know, in the future, deserter. You know what I'm saying? But there's war, military, and obsession. So that, you know, could be from a previous life. Maybe in a previous life in World War II, you know, I was obsessive. I was in the Air Force, and I deserted. Maybe I deserted, you know, for that love or something. You see how these work? Fascinating, aren't they? I was absolutely enchanted when I saw these. I thought, that is really, really cool. My own problem is I always get self-doubt. You know, self-doubt about, well, this isn't right. But I think we have to move on past that if we're going to be, you know, take it seriously and really delve into it and trust our intuition, trust, you know, guidance, and see what we learn. These have every single possible topic you can think of. Look at this one, contagious illness. Wow. Lower class, poverty, dispossessed, beggar, famine, ice age, right? So we've got times, imprisonment, loss of a loved one. Extremely fascinating, and actually it'd be fun to, you know, try these and actually see what they come up with. So hopefully you'll hear more about that. I don't have too many that are, you know, just sitting back behind, but the past life ones definitely. I have one more past life, and this one, I want to say she still sells it. There's a Red Orchid Publishing, and you can see I've got a bookmark. I started it. So 21 days to understanding yourself. There's 21 days that you go through here, and I used a separate notepad because I didn't want to write in the book. But you use the tarot deck that came with this kit. There's a little guide that goes with the deck. It's Art History Tarot for past lives. So this whole set here you can get. And in here we have black and white thumbnail, what it is, the root energy, in a past life, alternate interpretation, the place and the time if you want to use that card for a place or for a time. So each card, and then also it gives credit to the artist, which I do appreciate. So here are the cards, and tuck boxes never play nice with me. As gentle as I try, they always rip on the top, unfortunately. So these are old artwork, but they all, again, have an intentional reason for being in the deck for past life use. They also have the Tarot Association, but more along the lines you would use this for, you know, placement. Example, a time period or an action. You know, maybe you drowned in a past life. You know, Indigenous man. Maybe that has something to do with your past life. The Middle East, oppression. There's Asia, right? Japan and China. Religion. And again, at the bottom is the little Tarot Association and the art credit, which I do appreciate. Give those artists, you know, their due. Twin flames. America, you know. This is kind of outdated now, isn't it? Oh, sadly. So, you know, look at some of these ones. We've got, you know, starvation and loss and, you know, premature death. I mean, this was Joan of Arc, obviously, but wow. I mean, some of these are pretty brutal, right? Justice. And again, this was a whole kit that came in a set that I got from Red Orchid Press. Started to use it, and then I believe we had to move or something, so I had to pack it away. And then from there, it's just kind of sat. But gosh, you know, diving into this workbook, this looks like a lot of fun again. So I might start that back up. That is all of the past lives I have, aside from the book I saw from Michelle, which I want to look at. So moving on, this is the Femme Folk Oracle deck. It was named something else before. I don't remember what it was, maybe Folk Goddess or something like that, but you can get it. She reprinted this, and I just love her style. I pull this once a month, and I put it next to my little Isis on the shelf, and it's just kind of a, you know, what do you have to tell me today kind of thing. And for each card you get a color illustration, and the top part is, it tells you about the goddess, right? The folk story, the lesson learned. Down here is what it is teaching you based on that history, right? So like Kuan Yin here is compassion, tells about her story and how it can teach you. This is well used, by the way. This is a wonderful deck. Great cardstock. Here's the back. She also makes little necklaces and little small and large altar statues of these goddesses. Beautiful. Brown etching came. So here we have the artwork, and it tells you the name and the keyword of each one. I believe that was Loki's wife. I will not pronounce that. Some of them I'd never heard of. Some of them I had. I loved learning about them, though, and I love discovering what they have to tell me. Notice that on all of them, the faces are looking kind of down, and they kind of resemble the same face. However, what I love about that is you can kind of project yourself into that position, right, to learn more about it. Vesna, Pele from Hawaii, Persephone. Beautiful, beautiful Native American. Leto. So many goddesses in here that I really enjoyed learning about. And now I've used this so long that they're familiar to me now. I still can't pronounce it, but I love it. Hecate, Morrigan, Artemis. This is an awesome deck, and it's the only goddess deck I have, actually. Yeah, beautiful, beautiful. Femme Folk, but it is newly reprinted if you are interested in that. Beautiful deck. Okay, so the next category is kind of self-help, self-healing. And once I put them all together, I thought, wow, I got a lot of these. This is the first one. And the reason I was drawn to this, honestly, was the artwork. The artwork is beautiful oil painting. And it actually is pretty neat. You know, when you hear it's tapping, you're like, what in the world is that? This uses the meridians on your body with the affirmations. And I have actually found it calming or energizing or encouraging, however I need it. We had like a family emergency happen, and the one that I pulled was the Hope. Hope lights my path and guides me. It was a lighthouse. It really helped calm me down through it. So this is the guidebook, and you get the number of it, which is on the card, the saying, little black and white thumbnail, and then it tells you what the story is, right, and what it's about. Now, the tapping part, she has a book. I don't have it, but there's the QR code if you want the app to learn about it. Here is the artwork, and I don't know if you can tell, but the background here, it looks, there's oil painting brush strokes, and that is what drew my breath. The saying is on the front, and on the back are the instructions. So these are the meridians on the body, and you simply go on the side of your hand and tap 1, 2, 3 while you say this to yourself, right? Eyebrow, side of eye. In the cover, I've got this open so that I can hold it that way. There's a guide as well, and it's in the book. There's a guide as to where these are for your meridians, the tapping points. And you simply do that for each one of these. There's different mantras, if you will. There's the number for each one. And then you've got this to, you know, maybe put up on your shelf or right in front of you to remember throughout the day. But look at the beautiful artwork. Look at that. Gorgeous. I am enough. And there are your prompts. And when you're calm, when you actually do this, it's, you know, I heard someone in a video say, oh, this is life-changing. But it is calming. It is energizing. It is, you know, today I choose joy, right? Today I choose joy. There's all your prompts. And look at this art style. I love it. So the art is what initially drew me. The tapping intrigued me. And I really enjoy this. I will do this, you know, halfway through my workday. And no matter what I pull, it always kind of resonates. Beautiful, beautiful artwork. Declutter my space, declutter my mind. I am more than my thoughts. I am courageous. Beautiful. I don't know if you can see that in the card. It's just beautiful, beautiful. All right, I've said that word far too many times with this. I apologize. Okay, so that is the Tapping Solutions Daily Guidance, and it is newer, newly released, so you can find it out there. Tappingsolution.com, but I'm pretty sure I got this from Barnes & Noble. I'm sure you can find it on Amazon if you needed to. Great, great, great deck. All right, this one, Power of Surrender cards. What you need to let go of. So these are old as well. There's a brief, I don't even call it a little white book. This is just like a little pamphlet because you really don't need instructions on this. There's the background, which is just this beautiful photograph of a sunset over the ocean. And each card shows you what you might need to release for the day, to get rid of for the day. So surrender to silence, surrender to the habit of people-pleasing, outdated beliefs about yourself, surrender to spirit. And down below, it's got a little summary for you, right? So you don't need a guidebook. This is all you need, you know, surrender to inner peace with the picture. And you can tell this is old because of the border. A lot of cards these days aren't, you know, don't have borders, but this is really a useful deck. You know, I wouldn't have picked the artwork itself, but combined with the reason why I have this deck, you know, surrender your fear of change. And then it tells you about universe is reminding you you're cared for always. I have faith that all is well. So it's a great little deck. Yeah, some of the images might be cheesy, but I love the reason why I have this. Surrender worry. There have been a few times, you know, that it's been like, yep, you're right. I need to surrender comparing with other people or defensiveness, you know. So, yeah, this is another great little self-care deck. Okay, this one is a favorite. Self-care wisdom cards. These are great when you need a little, like if your best friend, if you were to call your best friend and, you know, tell her blah, 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 this day, this is something your best friend might tell you back, right? No guidebook. You don't really need it with this. The backs have little illustrations, which I enjoy the artwork compared to the surrender. This artwork is really, really pretty, right? Not the cheesy photos. A keyword. So, oh, I'm sorry, it's upside down. A keyword. What I love about these is what's on the other side. We have sayings on the other side. It is safe to wait. To me, people start to heal the moment they feel healed. To me, these are things your best friend might tell you, right? Gosh, these are so upside down. I apologize about that. See if I can get these righted for you. They're well used, I tell you that. Rebel. Time to celebrate the fact that you don't fit in. Stand on your own 2 feet. Calm. A breakdown is often followed by a breakthrough. Remain calm. Focus. If you focus on you don't want, there's a good chance you might get it. Focus on what you do want instead. So you can kind of see why I look at this as something your best friend might tell you back after you've, you know, unloaded on them. Action. Baby steps are still steps. They're better than standing still. Peace. Just because people are fueled by drama doesn't mean you have to attend the performance. Make your life a drama-free zone. Growth. Evolution starts when you leave your comfort zone. Get comfortable with being uncomfortable. And risk. Take a chance. Every risk is a success when you're committed to learning and growth. So yeah, these, I love them. There's one especially about worry that was really, really, really my favorite. And when I got it, I loved it. Decision, sometimes the best decision is no decision at all. You have the right to change your mind, right? Where is the worry one? Because there it is. This one here, time. Time spent worrying is time spent. Bingo. So yeah, I love these. I love these. These are like a little best friend retort if I needed to hear, you know, something. So self-care wisdom cards. Okay, this one is a monthly pull, actually. It is the Soul Helper Oracle, messages from your higher self. So you pull it. It shows you a photo, black and white thumbnail, what it is, a saying, full description, and then your helpers for the next 21 days. Cobra, Patchouli, Precious Opal, and the number 8. So it's kind of a, you know, what to work on for that, the 21 days. There's the back. And you have the number there to find it in the guidebook. You have an image. Listen to the eternal song of your soul. Tune into it and learn to trust it. So you can kind of put this up while you're working on those 21 days. Cast a spell with your existence. Lost in the ruins of the past. Find your way to the present moment and live. So it's, you know, a little reminder there. Be brave and be yourself. The artwork is pretty, very pretty. It's nice to use, you know, for the once every 21 days. Pretty, pretty artwork. Rise above the dark days of life. Don't fight them, but have faith the right way will always return. Follow the path of your soul. Do not allow anyone or anything to stop you. Beautiful. The realm of your truth is opening up. Give and receive security and warmth. So this is a great, you know, I suppose you could use it every day if you wanted to use it as a daily draw, but I use it as a once a month. Okay, another one I have as kind of a once a month learning thing that I don't use yet is the Practical Magic. I don't view this as like an oracle, even though it calls itself one. It has a very juicy guidebook here. Very, very thick guidebook. And it's kind of a, like a self-help type. So you've got, you know, the thumbnail, what it is, a summary, and then it talks about a lot of things to think about with, say, this one's about, you know, feminine energy in the moon. And you can see you've got a lot of pages here. And then practical magic, things to do related to that. So like work with the phases of the moon, plant a moon garden, lunar crystals, and, you know, make magic with the moon goddess. Lots, you know, lots and lots and lots. You can see there's like 7 different pages just for that one card, right? And then we move on to solar, which talks about the masculine energy. And then there's practical magic to do with that card. See? So there's a lot of gods and goddesses, you know, a lot to do with this deck. This is more, to me, a tool rather than a daily oracle. You could, I suppose, use it as that. And it's still in order, obviously, because I haven't used it yet. But you've got, you know, like Feel Your Emotions, Lady of Water, Step Up, Lady of Fire. They were all elements there. So we got lunar strength, and then there's the solar strength, physical strength, Nice thick cardstock, rose petal. Eye of the Storm, and then we've got Outer Wisdom and Inner Wisdom. Merlin's Temple versus the Stardust Soul. And Valiance. There's a couple really actual cool cards here that kind of join together. This one. So we've got Shine Your Light and Embrace Your Shadow. And look how they both kind of connect here. See, her dress is into the next card on each one. See that? So we've got 14, 13, Shine Your Light and Embrace Your Shadow. So they're kind of joined, right? Light and dark, light and dark, dark. I thought that was really cool. But there's a lot to dive into with this. It's not just, you know, the artwork and pulling, which you could use it, but there's a lot for each card in the book that you work with. So that's kind of why I have it there. And I should probably do it again once a month, you know, and have it sitting out just to do things with. Most people might think, well, that's a little elementary for my practice, but you learn more as you read and grow, even if it might at first seem basic. You might learn something. So, okay, last self-help. This is the Heal Yourself. I had the original of this long ago. It got totally damaged in a move, so I bought the updated one to replace it. This one has some really, really wonderful healing cards in it, some topics. There's the book, and for each card we have a color illustration, a saying, and advice, and then action on what to take for each one, right? Pull it out. There's the backs. The original, I think, was a different back, but that's just as pretty, and it is gilded. So here we have some really nice healing topics if you want to do some shadow work. We got Phoenix Rising, letting go, selling out. Look at that one. Self-sabotage, home, entrapment. I really, really love this deck because it, you know, brings the topics we might not want to think about. Hole in the soul, procrastination, sexuality, sadness, pride. Look at that. This is a great healing shadow work. Victim consciousness. Look at that, all around her dress. In the smoke. Pay attention to signs. Soulmate. Yeah, I love this deck. It would do well to pair with the Shadows We Cast Tarot, which is due in the mail, and then the Grief Oracle as well. Beautiful deck. Great self-help tool. All right, so let me grab the last block to finish up. All right, we are on our last stack, and I've got two more monthly draws. This is the Whispers of Lord Ganesha. I love the artwork. It's a gentle, gentle deck. I use it once a month. And we have the keyword, a slogan, and then the lesson that Ganesh is teaching you about that keyword. They're large cards. Beautiful, beautiful artwork. Nurture. We have the chakras in them too. And different keywords. Very in-depth artwork. You can kind of, you know, picture yourself in the scene. Concentration. There's this faithful little ego, the mouse, right? Clear your energy. Courage. Drive. Guidance. There's our crown chakra. Lots of cards. Beautiful, beautiful artwork. And soft, gentle guidebook. So that is the Whispers of Lord Ganesh, and I use that once a month for a gentle lesson to think about. I use this one once a month on my nightstand, and Alana Fairchild, oh my goodness, her guidebooks are always so in depth. I had the Sacred Rebels, but I didn't use it, even though I liked the artwork. This one, the same thing. I would not have bought it just for the frequency and angelic realms and all that she talks about. There's the backs. What I did was I took out 12 cards to represent each month for me, and I'll put them on the nightstand and read the guidebook for, whatever it's talking about for that month, and just kind of leave it there for the artwork. And those 12 I keep in here. So we get a thumbnail and what the message is, and then you read the lesson. Some of them are quite in depth, and then there's always an ending healing process of what to do and what to say to heal yourself. And my 12 are in here, and I have the 12 different animals, of course. I love them. It looks like paper or textured clay. The artist was just so ingenious. That's my favorite. And there's little stories for each one. This is for October, an owl, wish-fulfilling crow, and then Queen Maeve. So that's how I use this. Otherwise, I would not have gotten it. I got it strictly for the artwork. And it's a monthly nightstand pull. Okay, so now I have 2 chakra decks. And I've pulled out, actually, my favorite. I'll see if I can get a picture of it. And I've put them on the door for each chakra. I've kind of combined these 2 decks. I've got the Mindset and Insight. And the Mindset, these are cards to obviously balance your chakras. And I've kept them, I believe, in order of the chakra. For each card, you get a little black and white description, and then a mantra and additional meanings. And they're separated by each chakra, like the root chakra. The mantra is, I am safe, right? So here are the cards. There's the back. There we are. So we have belonging. These are root chakra. Thriving, healthy, instinct, grounded, and the root. Then we move on, right? Rising from the ashes, limiting beliefs, manifestation. That's a bonus card. Uninhibited, self-nurturing, reception to others. You see how the coloring is for each chakra. There's our sacral. And then up to yellow, right? Accepting, willpower. The artwork is beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. And I don't use it enough as I should. But again, I've pulled out from both decks my favorite cards to show the benefits, the actual chakra, and then the what to clear on each one. So again, in that picture, I'll take it. It's on my door. This is the other one, because I liked the artwork on both of them. I liked, what they both had to say. This one, some of the images are a little, I don't know, not as my cup of tea. So we have a thumbnail, keywords, the chakra symbol interpretation, the card message, and affirmations, right? And then there's a table, a lot of information in this one. And then again, it delves into different items to focus on with each chakra. There's the back. And again, these are color-coded as well. So this is your root chakra, family, belonging, community, culture, tribe, action, movement, physical health, grounding, possessions. Now we're moving into the next one, right? The color's more orange. And again, I took out the actual chakra card from these, so you're not seeing it in its full, but it is absolutely a beautiful, beautiful deck. Inner child, responsibility. There's so many on here that I could show you here. All right, so that one is the Chakra Insight. Those are my 2 chakra decks. Not used a lot, but I do look at the back of that door every day at work to remind me and look at, you know, the different things. Okay, so moving on. This is like a random deck. I got the book that goes with it. Madame Endora's Book of Fortunes. This is a great little book. It has, you know, a lot of divinity type, not only the deck, but also talking about, you know, palm reading, tea reading, runes, you know, zodiac. That is a great book that goes with it. But this is the actual deck. And come on, little tuck deck. There we go. Didn't rip it open. These are very, 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 very thin, but they look like a lot of fun to have. Extremely, extremely thin cardstock. There's the book. And again, the bigger book goes into more detail than, you know, these. So get rid of the front and title. So here we have them. These are more not necessarily tarot at all, but you know, these you would pull almost like Lenormand. You know, you'd pull it and it would give you a fortune. And, you know, I would be afraid to really shuffle these for fear that it would start fraying. You'd have to be very careful. But it does look like a lot of fun to use. So it is on my, you know, to be used and to be explored pile. It's been there for quite a while. It's the only one of its type that I have. I don't have any other decks that are kind of, you know, just quote unquote fortune cards like this. But they look intriguing, don't they? They look like, you know, they'd be fun to use and delve into. So that's those, and hopefully they will stay in good condition, because they feel kind of fragile. You know, you can tell right away with cardstock if something isn't gonna last very long. So that's that. Now, this little deck, this little gem, I found this years ago on Amazon. There's not even a proper publisher, but what drew me were the colors, the pink and gold, the rose gold. And I used these, I would pull these once at bedtime just to kind of read. And they're really great. The universe hears the whispers in your heart. There's no guidebook. It talks about, you know, the back talks about them, but you really don't need a guidebook. The sides are kind of, you know, edged. There are 3 backs, which tells me there were 3 different like categories. One's for growth, one's for spiritual. You know, this is for divinity, and then there's one for looking up at the sky like goddess. These are just little sayings. That's all they are, little affirmations. And the top have little symbols, you know, some sun, butterfly, and moon. Those are the 3 little groups. I'll focus up here. So, you know, read this one. Out of the ashes you shall rise, and the tears you once shed will pave the way for all that is light and free. And from this depth you will arrive at your ultimate truth, your ultimate joy. I mean, it's just a wonderful little saying. And I won't read all of them, but, you know, some of them are really well thought out. Be the very thing, the very essence, the very core of what it is your heart desires. Be this, my love, and watch it come so effortlessly to you. So beautiful, beautiful. You know, little, and you catch little things like at the bottom here. If you can hold it in your heart and see it in your mind, you will hold it in your hand, right? This is about manifesting. And this one talks about, you know, a leap, taking that leap. You're safely perched, but you have to take the leap, make the change. And at the bottom, you must leap first and allow the universe to catch you. See, my darling, there is a catch. It's just so cuddly and soft. This one talks about being wild, right? Go ahead, you're safe. Throw your head back. Let the sound escape your lips. Just wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Surrender and release, you know, surrender, dear one, and watch how you rise. It's kind of something that you would hope, you know, maybe your spiritual mother would tell you, right? It's just, it makes you feel safe and strong. And, you know, when you cannot sleep, create. It's just little wonderful little things. So this has stayed with me for many, many, many years. It was a wonderful thing to read right before bed. So yeah, if you can find that on Amazon, go for it. It is, you know, a beautiful little deck and inexpensive. All right, runes. This is the only, aside from the Rune Tarot, this is the only rune deck I really have. The Witch's Familiar Runic Oracle. And it was intended to be, you know, a little guide on learning runes because it looks simple and easy to use. There's different spreads in here. For each card, you get, you know, what it is, the animal, because it is a, you know, Witch's Familiar. See an animal, and then it talks about, you know, the story about how it relates with the animal, keywords, and then even magical workings that you can do with each one. And for a tiny, you know, little guidebook that's, you know, packs a little punch there. So here are the cards. They're small. There's the back with the runes around them. And here we have them. So, you know, we've got Othala, and there's the rune symbol, and there's the imagery to help you, you know, gain a picture of what it might represent. Fehu, sorry if I'm mispronouncing it. Obviously, I haven't used this a lot. Uruz, right? There's the rune. There's a big, strong bowl with some crystals there. Thurisaz. There's the rune. There's a wolf, thorns and fire and the moon. So yeah, this is a great little tool, and I need to use it more. And I know that I've said that a lot on these videos, but I think we all have that problem, kind of. But I thought this would be a fun one, a fun way, you know, quick little illustrations on how to visually see and remember what the meaning of each little rune is. So, Witch's Familiar Runic Oracle, small but mighty. Okay, so I have this deck that Draconis Loqui. I can never pronounce it, and I'm sorry to the artist. I love her work. I love this deck. I've done a little sneak peek video on this. I need to do a follow-up because I really enjoyed this. And I know some people, when they kind of did a hot take or a review of it, you know, looking at it on the site, they thought, no thanks, not my cup of tea. But it's so in depth. I love this. The premise of it, there are 3 dragons. One is in the spiritual realm, one is in the earthly, you know, physical realm, and then this is in the kind of underworld realm. And this one, as you would imagine, the voice is very higher frequency and love and light, you know. The Mother Earth one, this one is more realistic and grounded. And of course, this one is very blunt and honest. And gosh, I just love them. Each little card has a symbol drawn on it. And when you look at each card in here, so you get what it is and an affirmation, right? Color image of it. Lux is the spiritual one. Lux has the, you know, beautiful soul, spiritual, talking about nourishing. Then we have Terra, who is the earthbound one, who is more, you know, grounded and earthy and practiced. And then we have Umbra, you know, which is the shadow work, the blunt one. Example, feeding your body and mind junk food all the time is a surefire way to invite inflammation and disease. Let me tell you, right? You get that for each and every card. Pull them out here, and, you know, they fit in your hand perfectly. And look at the gold edging there. Beautiful. And it's even, you know, edged on the side. They shuffle beautifully. They're just so easy. So for each one, you have the image in the middle. Pull that up here. So you have the image in the middle, and beautiful background color. There's stardust back there. Around the sides are the elements. 5, because up here is spirit, right? So you have the word there, and you can see the image, what she has done for each one. Suffering. See. Learn. See how we're learning here. This deck doesn't get enough love for the amount of time that it took to create all of these and put the meanings into it. Not only, look at message, the language here, not only are we getting just this, gratitude. Look at the heart fully expanding with the background images, and I'm chunking through them. I'm not showing all of them. But we also get the book that goes with it. Give and receive. Look at this person standing, giving, this person kneeling and receiving. Temple. Passion. There's one in here that's just gorgeous. It's soar. And oh wow, I just love getting it. Self. Look at, you're holding yourself up. Create. There it is, soar. Look at that. Spectacular. But remember, with each card, you also get an affirmation and 3 different dragon voices. So I enjoy them so much, I read all 3. But let's say you just want to hear the, the earth one. You would just read that for the day. You can also do spreads. She's got some in the front here. If you want to do past, present, future, if you want to do, spirit, earth, and shadow, you can do those and just read that meaning for that position. So these do not nearly get enough attention as they should. Love this deck. Okay. On to the astronomical astrology type cards. So I have this one. This was the first one that I got. I saw it on YouTube, and I used that little deck to help me change them out. I want to say, gosh, I don't remember off the top of my head whose channel it was, but showed them, and I thought that's what I need because I don't have an astrology deck. This is the only little white book you get to use, but these are great. There's the back. The gold etching on these is spectacular. There's the sides. They're small, but they fit in your hand nicely. What I use these for, I found little wooden easels on Amazon, and I put up the sun, the moon, the season, and I'll put which zodiac sign they are in so that I can become familiar with the star structure for each one. So there's the moon phases, right? I keep them in order. There's eclipse, blood moon. We've got the nodes. Then we get into the planets. Mercury. There's Earth. The colors are beautiful. So you could also do, if you wanted to do your birth chart, you can use these. There is a video. Gosh, I forget her name. Forgive me. But she did you could do your own birth chart using these with the planets and the houses, because way back here, now we're getting into the zodiac signs, Aries, Taurus, Gemini. See, you learn the constellations for each one. And then we get to the actual houses. See, here's the houses, and it marks them out for you. So you can do your birth chart with them. And then we also, finally, in the back, and the houses are marked on each one for the season. But I use this for, obviously, I kept them in order for the seasons. And summer, late summer, autumn, late autumn, and then we start getting into winter. So these are great to be used not only as display, but for a tool if you need to use them. I use them for display. I find them perfect. Along the lines of a birth chart, I have this, the Heavenly Bodies, and it is so detailed, beautifully packaged. Look at that, a beautiful little hardback book. So much information here. For each card, we have a color illustration what it stands for, keywords, and then omens, right? So you could use it as a pull if you wanted to. But I found that this was very handy actually in creating my birth chart. The deck comes in another lovely little box that's kind of tucked in here. See? And there's the back. I kept it in order for that use because I want to keep all of the planets in order. Because you can use it for your birth chart. You can use it for your horoscope if you wanted to. Because each planet not only has this gorgeous artwork, but then, you know, keywords on there, right? So then we have the zodiacs after the planets. And she teaches you in the book how to place these. So, you know, maybe if your Leo was in your sun, right? Let's just say that Leo's your sun sign. So you would say, my self-expression and embodiment is through self-confidence and loyalty, right? Or if your moon, how you satisfy your emotional needs and is in Scorpio, then you satisfy your emotional needs by intensity, exposing, purging, and renewing, right? So you put them together that way. She has these more complicated cards, conjunctions and sextiles and oppositions and squares. And you learn that when you do your birth chart online on a free one, and it tells you, you know, your Pisces is in, you know, squared with, you know, the sun or whatever. And you do learn that. It is so complicated, but it's fascinating at the same time because you really read about it. She's got elements here and the houses, right? House 1, individuality, self-image, and approaching life. So maybe you had, you know, Gemini in house 1. This and laying it all out in front of you on a table and then writing it down. It just makes it so much easier to understand. She's done a wonderful job. And I don't know if you can hear that. Gorgeous cardstock. So complicated, but definitely if you're at all interested in learning it, this is the one to have. I also have this one. Haven't used it again, and it's similar to the one I just showed you, Heavenly Bodies, where it has all the same exact symbols. And you could do your birth chart, you know, you can do your horoscope. You can even pull these as an oracle. So you don't get a picture in the guidebook, but you do have, you know, actions to take, challenges, gifts for each one. And I have these right now. I have them to show the sun and moon position. So, you know, if the moon were in Aries, I would have this up next to the moon, you know, Aries, act, Taurus, cultivate. So I've got the zodiacs separated from the rest of them, but it's got, again, complicated things, you know, dignified. I've seen people that actually know what they're talking about with this astrology. They're a lot more learned than I am, but they understand that this is a great deck, you know, to use for that purpose. And it is gorgeous. So this, you know, kind of conflicts with the Heavenly Bodies, but I've heard the guidebook is a little more easier in this one for just basic understanding, right? Just so one that I do actually use for moon and sun placements, but will eventually delve into more. The last one I have that is for astronomy, I started to use it, but wow, this one is complicated. She hand made each image using string as 3D for each one and took a picture of them. For each card, you get the keyword. All the planets are in all the phases automatically for you. So that was what I was using it for. So in this one, the moon in Capricorn, it's a dark moon, the animal's the vulture, the plant, element, and number. So interpretation, keywords, reversed. So you could use it as a pull if you wanted to. There's animal and botanical symbolism. I started reading, I got my little bookmark here, but it talks about how to use this with the planets, the symbols, signifiers. And again, you could use it just as an oracle because of the keywords, but the artwork, she put in so much. You can see the little pins with the thread. And we've got the elemental symbol as well as the zodiac and planetary. So we got the sun, fire, and then Aries on this one, and the sun and Aries. The elements down here and the symbols as well. So you do learn the symbolism. And I had all the planets on my little easels, and I would shift them when my app said, you know, the sun is moving to Scorpio. I'd put up that card so I'd understand, you know, endurance. It is, you know, you have to be diligent in looking at your app every day and then changing them out. So that's probably why I stopped doing it, but I need to, because it does help me learn. There's so much symbology here she has put into this. So there's the back, and it is edged in this beautiful dark gray. So that is the other and last astrology deck that I have, and I'm studying. Okay, one last one. It is not really a tarot oracle at all. I have this book, Writing Down the Bones, on being a writer. I have tons of these books. I love them. She came out with the Writing Down the Bones deck. These are actual writing prompts, and my husband was sweet enough to buy this for me for Christmas. I had it on my wish list, and I was delighted to see it. Not really need a guidebook, but there's like a cardboard, you know, introduction for it. And all it is every day you grab a card, and it's a writing prompt. So you grab a card, tell me about yesterday, and you just start writing. It's just a writing prompt. And on the back of them, she's got little, you know, this is a good one, and what was it like? And it just little, you know, explanations if you need one. Another good one, give me your morning, you know. And what it does is it just prompts you every day, every morning, you can do a little writing prompt on things you want to write about or journal about. And it's just fantastic to have. I'm so glad that she came out with this, because it really helps pair up with her book nicely. So I do have a few that are winging their way to me. I do have the White Winnie and the Black Seed coming. So those I'll do reviews on. Otherwise, you have seen them all. And the next stage will be going through pairing of these. So thank you for taking this adventure with me. I hope it was amusing for you as well. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.